Alan Venter went very well in the Superbike race on Sunday on the TH Racing Kawasaki. Continuing the international flavour, David Datzer from Germany. He will go on the Ian Locker machine, the pattern. And we switch back to the Isle of Man for Marcus Simpson, who had his first TT finish. A fantastic 12th place in the Superbike TT. He goes next. Then Nico Sweeney from Skerries on an Aprilia. We'll take a couple more away from the line before we start to look towards Glen Helen. Martin Morris will be next away on the Drain Cure and Sun Brewer Racing Aprilia. Next up, competing in his second TT, Francesco Caringa from Italy, again on the Ian Locker machine. We understand that Jamie Coward leads on the road at Harold, so Coward has overhauled Paul Jordan as we start to switch attention towards Glen Helen, where we should be getting the first riders shortly. Obviously, the conditions today not quite where they've been for the rest of the week, but we do now see Coward first on the road into Glen Helen. Jenny and Patrick are with us. Coward's overhauled Jordan already then.
Yeah, good. Caught up Paul Jordan just before Ballycrane, so yeah, got past him quite simply, and then we just saw him through Glen Helen there. We can see the damp patches on the track there, so we just see them pick the bikes up just over that wet patch, which is kind of in the middle of the road there, and see the spray actually off the back tyre, so yeah, taking it steady in that section. Yeah, the wet patches through Glen Helen there, the sod seemed to be coming up through the centre of the road like it was during practice week, so the guys will cross the white line going through the Glen Helen section, and then it'll be real tricky just to sort of try and feed the power onto the bike without sort of going too much. You know, like these bikes, like Peter Hickman was saying, they're only 100 horsepower, but that's still more than enough on these slick tyres to sort of get in some difficult shapes.
And I'll have it in your mind for the whole of the rest of the lap. Where are these damp patches? Yeah, they'll have done the warm-up, but now they're thinking, oh, I've got to be wary, haven't I, all the way around?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing the warm-up lap this morning was probably very, very beneficial just to get your eye in to know exactly where those wet patches are and just to take it steady over them. And yeah, there's a few different lines there as well. You can try and go a little bit tighter, but the ideal line is to take that run over the centre of the road.
And with this being a 3-lap race as well, also the conditions will change every lap because obviously there's sort of 50 bikes going over the same part of the track. They sort of dry the track out as the race goes ahead, so the track conditions are going to be different from the first lap to the last lap. And like they were saying with the wind and the gusts going over the mountain, it's like so many unknowns going into this race.
Just waiting then, we get Hickman through, so we can now bring a leaderboard at Glen Helen lap 1. It's Michael Dunlop leading away on the pattern. Dunlop leads by 3.2 seconds over Dominic Herbertson, who holds on to second place. Herbertson on the Burrows pattern. Then Rob Hodson is in third. He's only a tenth of a second down on Herbertson. Jamie Coward is half a second down on Hodson in fourth. Peter Hickman then slots in to fifth, 1.2 seconds down on Jamie Coward. Mike Brown, sixth, 1.3 seconds down on Hickman. Davey Todd in seventh, 3.8 seconds down on Brown. Pierre-Yves Bihan is half a 0.8 of a second down on Davey Todd. Then Michael Rutter is ninth, and he's only 0.3 of a second down on Pierre-Yves Bihan. And then Paul Jordan slots into 10th, 4.8 seconds down on Rutter. So Dunlop has had a hard charge from the start there. He's 3.2 seconds clear at Glen Helen.
Yeah, we can see him coming. He's all tucked in and he looks looking racy. This is the class that he's dominated, really. As long as his bike keeps going, you know, he's probably the favourite for this race.
Yeah, it's sort of the only class where we sort of got away from what was the usual 3, but now the usual 4. 3 completely different podiums last year, and Dom Herbertson had a fantastic start on the pattern, only 3.2 behind Michael Dunlop, who he's got out of the blocks hot, but that's sort of his sort of aggressive nature of riding style always sort of leads to be sort of a little bit more beneficial. It might be a little bit not brave as such, but sort of aggressive over the wet patches, sort of will play into his hands.
Huge wheelie being pulled by someone there on the live stream, but Joe Yeardley has slotted into the top 10 at Glen Helen. Yeardley into 10th place, only a tenth of a second down on Pierre-Yves Bihan as Coward makes it through Ballath. I think it was Coward pulling a huge wheelie somewhere there along the course. As we look now for the next checkpoint, we'll start to get them coming through Ballath. As we say, Coward and Jordan through there now. We'll need to wait certainly for Hickman to arrive just to get a proper indication of the top 10. as we're just looking at the live stream here. It's gone very tree-laden as we try to pick up the riders. So we see Jamie Cowan now out over Balacry. He's away through. We're understanding that Stefano Bonetti is a retirement at Balacrane. So disappointing for Stefano Bonetti. We see a 3-bike train through Balaf. Not sure who it is as we get Paul Jordan coming over the Balacry jump as well. Whoever those three are, they're having a right dice.
Yeah, I thought possibly the middle one was Dunlop because he did the standard front wheel nose over Balaf Bridge. But yeah, it's actually hard to tell from this helicopter shot, isn't it? Who it is exactly? It is
Dunlop going round the outside of Rob Hodson over Balacry. They've already cleared Michael Rutter. So we're just waiting for Hickman to arrive at Balaf to get a proper indication of the leaderboard. It shows Michael Dunlop leading now by 6.6 seconds already at Balaf on lap 1 from Dominic Herbertson. Herbertson continues to hold second, but it's now Jamie Coward up to third. Coward up to third, 1.2 seconds down on Herbertson. Peter Hickman arrives and slots into fourth. Now only quarter of a second down on Coward. So Hickman is climbing up the leaderboard. Rob Hodson drops from third at Glen Helen to fifth at Balaf. He is 0.7 of a second down on Hickman. Then Davey Todd is only half a second down on Hodson. Michael Rutter is in seventh, only 3.1 seconds down on Todd. Then Yves Bihan is 2.7 seconds down on Rutter. Josh Brooks and Paul Jordan showing up for 10 riders through Balaf. We're obviously waiting on Joe Yearsley to arrive from a start number of 16 as we see the replay of Dunlop going round the outside of Hodson after Balacry.
Yeah, and he's tucked right in there, isn't he? He's got his head right behind the bubble of the screen, and yeah, nice place. Well, not exactly a nice place to overtake, to be fair. It's quite a scary place, but yeah, he made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, I don't know if Michael just got a bit of a better run over Balacry jump because he almost sat out of the bubble right as he was in behind Rob Hodson. I don't know if he needed to turn at the handlebars a little bit or it surprised him a little bit, maybe at the speed he caught on the back of him. So yeah, it's lively enough place to be trying to go past.
In terms of traffic for Michael Dunlop as our race leader, he's already cleared then Rob Hodson and Michael Rutter ahead of him. So now he has a bit of a gap on the road up to Yves Bihan. So he'll have a little bit of clear road to work with here, Patrick.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of a clear road. And I've just got some speed trap times here through Sulby Straight on the first lap. We've got Michael Dunlop, 162.214 mile an hour. Then Dom Herbertson was second fastest at 159. So the only one to get into the 160 mile an hour bracket was Michael Dunlop. So that kind of showed that he managed to get in the slipstream and get past just before Quarry Bends, which is the corner before you get onto Sulby Straight. So he's had a good run through Quarry Bends and onto Sulby Straight and got the fastest time.
Top four speeds down the speed trap are all patterns, which is what we've seen in the past. The pattern does seem to have a little bit of a straight line advantage.
Yeah, the next fastest there is Peter Hickman in fifth fastest, 156.5 mile an hour. So some 5.5 mile an hour down on Michael Dunlop, which round here on these bikes where sort of there will be 100% full throttle, quite a bit of the circuit, like corner speed is a huge thing on these bikes, like what the guys were talking about before. So to be giving away 5.5 mile an hour in a straight line is a bit of a disadvantage there for Pete Hickman.
Just on the sector times that we have out to Balaf, and obviously we've got some caution on these because of the wind that they're going to be encountering over the mountain. We've got Michael Dunlop at a 1:21.5 type pace from a standing start in these conditions. It's pretty impressive stuff, Jenny.
Yeah, he is an Irish road racer, isn't he? He doesn't mind the wet at all, and we've seen him in the past just not really be as bothered as other riders could possibly be with the damp patches. You know, he will just not back off.
Yeah, he's by far one of the sort of bravest riders out there in these sort of conditions. I sort of thought would play into his hands with a wind. He'll ride through it and have not less caution, but not let them bother him so much. So yeah, it kind of does play in his hands, and it's sort of showing at the halfway around this first lap so far that is the case.
Let's bring you a leaderboard then at Ramsey Hairpin, where we just wait on Peter Hickman to arrive. Michael Dunlop's lead is up again to 9 seconds. 9 seconds Dunlop leads Herbertson by. Then Hickman is up to third now. So Hickman's overhauled Coward on the run from Balaf to Ramsey Hairpin to take third. He's only half a second behind Herbertson. So Hickman is certainly the coming man after starting. Well, he was fifth, I think, at Glen Helen, fourth at Balaf, now third at Ramsey. Coward then is 1.5 seconds down on Hickman. Rob Hodson is 1.3 seconds down on Coward. Davey Todd is 8.8 seconds down on Hodson in sixth. Then in 7th, Michael Rutter. 8th, Pierre-Yves Bion. 9th, Josh Brooks. And 10th, Paul Jordan. Looking back to Ballath, thought that Joe Yearsley is through there and continues to hold on to that 10th place, which is impressive start for Joe, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah, really, really impressive. Obviously, he's got some good people around him in the team there with wealth of experience. But just watching a few of the guys going into Ramsey Herpin and seeing straight away that Dom Herbertson has caught and past Davy Todd, and Davy's sort of latching onto the back of him. But just seeing the speed of that pattern of Michael Dunlop there as he passes Paul Jordan, and it looks like these two bikes are in different races, unfortunately for Paul. So, the pattern is really good in this class, but obviously Michael Dunlop is making the bike work and getting the absolute maximum out of it. We're just going to see a replay of that shot right now.
Yeah, as he runs through on the approach to the 26th, is it? But yeah, around the outside of him there, he gets him nicely. In fact, it's just onto the mountain mile is where he's just passed Paul Jordan. So Dunlop only has Pierre-Yves Bion and Jamie Coward ahead of him on the road as he goes up to the end of the mountain mile into the left-handers at the East Mountain Gate, as it used to be called, and away out towards Casey's and on through the mountain section. So based on those sector times that we have to Ramsey, he's still on that high 121 type pace, 121.8 pace for Michael Dunlop, but we'll just see how this wind affects them as they come over the mountain. Looking down, see Joe Yearsley has made it through Ramsey Hairpin and continues to hold on to that 10th place. So it's Dunlop, leads Herbertson, then Hickman, then Coward in 4th, 5th for Rob Hodgson, 6th Mike Brown, 7th Davy Todd, then Baz Ferber now into 8th. We must watch out for Baz as well. Quite big things were expected when he was up into 8th place at the Ramsey Hairpin. Then 9th for Michael Rutter, 10th for Joe Yearsley, as we see Jamie Coward come out of the bungalow on the run up Halewoods Rise.
Yeah, if people were watching these shots of these guys riding over the mountain right now, they've got no idea of how blustery the wind is out there. And if you were watching Michael Dunlop go from white line to white line, inside to outside, you would not believe how much the wind would affect you and how much he is throwing caution through the wind. He's fully committed in these fast sections up there where the wind is probably at its worst.
Yeah, for him to have that level of self-confidence that he's got in his own ability to take it to the white line with the wind factor as well. I was speaking to another rider and he was saying he wanted like a foot margin just in case the wind blew him, but Michael's just right on the edge.
He is now second on the road. Michael Dunlop here. Ethan is actually behind Paul Jordan still, so Dunlop has already cleared him. So it's Jamie Coward leading on the road from Michael Dunlop, who leads in the race, and that lead has gone out to 13 seconds. We'll await the arrival of Dom Herbertson. Actually, it's 13 seconds over Coward at the moment, but we'll wait for both Herbertson and Hickman to arrive at the bungalow. Herbertson does arrive now, and it's gone out to 11.2 seconds, but we must just watch out for Hickman here. He was only half a second down on Herbertson at the Ramsey Hairpin. He's taken second, so he's taking every sector point. Hickman up to second, but 10.2 seconds down on Dunlop at the bungalow, lap 1 of this Metzler Supertwin TT race 1. And then Herbertson is now down to third, 1 second down on Hickman. Jamie Coward continues to hold fourth, 2.4 seconds down on Herbertson. Then Rob Hodgson continues to hold fifth, 2 seconds down on Coward. We're waiting on Mike Brown to arrive, who was sixth at Ramsey. At the moment, we show Davy Todd, Mike Rutter, Pierre-Yves Bion, Josh Brooks and Paul Jordan as all through the bungalow, but we're waiting on Mike Brown, Barry Ferber and Joe Yearsley to arrive to get ourselves a consolidated top 10 leaderboard. And of course, these guys are now already looking at the compulsory pit stop at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, I was just about to say that there. The guys, you can see the pit boards getting held out at the Craig here now, and just see my father-in-law is actually holding out Jimmy Coward's pit board, so he's doing a good job up there. But yeah, and it's easy for people to forget that, especially now with a different strategy. We have to mandatory pit stop on the first lap. You get used to settling in and getting another lap under your belt before having to come around and do that. And I'm definitely not going to say the race is over and done with like we did on the Superbike race, because all the action happened in the pits. So I'm gonna let that play out first before I make that call.
Jamie Coward then arrives at Crocknamona. He will be the first man to come into the pits for that compulsory stop. We then await Michael Dunlop to arrive at Crocknamona. He shouldn't be too far away. Looking back to the bungalow, we do not have Mike Brown through. He holds 6th place behind Rob Hodgson. Joe Yearsley is also through and showing as 9th, but we're waiting on Barry Ferber, who does slot in now. So Ferber slots into 8th, then 9th Michael Rutter, then in 10th Joe Yearsley. Dunlop then continues to lead at Cronknamona. We're waiting, obviously, on Hickman and Herbertson, who started at 9 and 10 to come through to get a definitive idea of the leaderboard. But the guys will be into the pits possibly before we have those two through Cronknamona. But Chris Kinley will bring you that information. He'll be watching the times as we get Jamie Coward. We get the signal. Here he is into the pit lane. Let's get down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, Michael Dunlop's knocked another 3 seconds on Hickman. It's 10.2 at the bungalow. So Dunlop, Coward's across the line. There he goes there now. We've got Michael Dunlop leading by 12.8 as they went through Cronknamona, but Jamie Coward, the first bike in. The KTS Stead Plan machine just getting the screen done. A little look at the rear tyre. Klaxon goes once more in the background. Picture that for you. You can hear the roar of Michael Dunlop's pattern coming down here. We're going to get the lap time from Chris Boyd. Hickman is at Cronknamona. It's 10.682, and then it's 2.1 seconds back to Dave Dominic Herbertson in third place as Jamie Coward leaves and Michael Dunlop in. Are we going to see that number 27 today? The SC Project pattern is stopped. Here's number 5. That, of course, is Rob Hodgson. He's holding on to 5th down there at Cronknamona. What was the lap time for Michael Dunlop?
121.044, Chris. 18 minutes, 42.1. 121.
Michael Rutter in, Pierre Eves beyond in as well. Let's give you the leaderboard then. Into the pits, 15.27 for Michael Dunlop leading over Jamie Coward. But we're waiting for Hickman next. Then it's Rob Hodgson, Michael Rutter, Pierre Eves beyond as Paul Jordan comes in. Looking at the pit stop time. Oh, that's a quick pit stop by Michael Rutter's team. Get that details for you on the pit stop times in a second. 30.6 of Dunlop. 33.8 for Coward, 30.11 for Hobson. Rutter's team, 27.43. And Pierre Eves beyond, he's got problems. He's having a little bit of he's going to get pushed and he's got away. Paul Jordan now is off the bike. Let's get back to the front then. Hickman in then, 10.2. That's what the lead is. He's got number 8. Davey Todd holding on to about 7 at the moment, and Peter Hickman has got away, has got ahead out of the pits of Davey Todd. As number 7, Josh Brook comes in. So into the pits, Dunlop leads by 10.2 from Hickman, who in turn has 5 seconds over 9. Herbertson, and it's Coward, only 0.011 back off Herbertson. Rob Hodgson, 4.9 back in 5th place. Davey Todd, number 8, he's in 6th. Paul Jordan is going to be a retirement. Unfortunately, Davey Todd, 9 seconds back off Hodgson. Rutter, 10 seconds back in 7th. And then slotting in there now, just in for the pit stop, is Mike Brownlee, your mate, the number 14 bike. He's in 4th place. He's only 3 seconds back of Jamie Coward. And Josh Brooks, I think Reverend Problem is trying to get his machine fired at the bottom of pit lane there. Just the R7 just won't fire up. I can actually see him either using the starter, or you can see the LED lights on the back. And here's Mike Brown in and out. He's still got the rag on his arm as Mike Brown. He's going to have to get rid of that before he exits pit lane. He's got something on his arm. He's not spotted it. That's going to blow off. Look out there, the top of St. Indians. There'll be a white towel or something on Mike Brown's right arm. He's going to catch, but Josh Brooks has gone away. Wow, more pit stop action.
Absolutely. Let's bring you that leaderboard down the pit stop out. Peter Hickman was just about 0.6 of a second quicker than Dunlop, so he reduces the lead. I think 9.1 seconds now I have Dunlop leading Hickman by on the pit stops out. Then it's 5.5 seconds back to Dominic Herbertson, and then about 3.8 seconds back from Herbertson to Jamie Coward as we watch these guys head out. There was real drama there for the Rev to Race team, wasn't there? Struggle. They were pushing one bike away for Paul Jordan as the other one failed to start for Josh Brooks.
Yeah, we've seen Paul get passed by Michael over the mountain section, so I don't know if that was a little bit of an engine issue or something. The bike's just not running right. And then obviously we couldn't see Josh Brooks was really struggling to get the sister bike of that team to start coming out of pit lane. So not a good time for that team right now.
Joe Yeasley and Barry Thurber in for their pit stops, Chris.
Yeah, they're in and out already. Pretty good pit stop time again. Let's look through those pit stop times. What a stop that was for the Mike Brown team as well. 28.2. Rob Hodgson, 30.1. We said about Michael Dunlop, 30.8. Peter Hickman, 29.4. Rutter's team, no quickest, 27.43 as more machines come in for their pit stops just up the top there now. I'm just going to make our way past the pit lane manager guy, and here we go, number 28. That's Adam McLean coming in at the moment. He's on the Flitwick Motorcycles machine. Where does Adam slot into? 13th position for Adam at the moment. And, of course, we'll be losing Paul Jordan, so that will move a couple of people up a place. Some good performances. Mick O'Sweeney, 15th position at Cronknamona. And 22, Julian Trummett in 16th place. Tom Whedon, number 42, he's in 17th place. And I think that is Tom Whedon in here now as you all come in for this compulsory pit stop. And it still surprises me, Lee Johnson, as some of the riders just forget where their pits are.
Yeah, it's you see people have been here a long time, and they are still walking down there and looking. And I will always walk out and look, because the guys tell you a number and you think, oh, that's maybe 2/3 of the way down, or you forget which end the numbers start counting from. So if it counts up or counts down. So yeah, it shouldn't really be a thing. That's in the rider's hands, and if that does go wrong, it's only himself to blame, him or herself to blame for the problem.
As you look at the pits, though, the podium area, all the even numbers are on your right-hand side and all the odd numbers are on the left-hand side. As AJ Ventnor, Alan Ventnor goes out at the moment. Where does AJ slot in? Let's have a little look. 12th place for AJ Ventnor. He's just behind Pierre-Yves Beyond, who didn't have the best pit stop, did Pierre-Yves Beyond. As Michael Sweeney comes in, Scary Mass will be listening for this one. Miko in 21st place for the leaders at Glen Helen.
They are indeed. Jamie Coward is just through Glen Helen. We'll pick up the leaderboard as we get more riders through. Let's bring you the lap 1 times that we owe you. Michael Dunlop, 18 minutes, 42.136, 121.044 miles per hour. Peter Hickman, 1852.372, 119.950. Dominic Herbertson in third, 119.420. Jamie Coward in fourth, 119.419. Literally thousandths of a second behind Herbertson. Mike Brown in fifth, 119.104. Rob Hodson in sixth, 118.949. Then Davey Todd, 117.966. And Barry Ferber, eighth, 116.888. Michael Rutter, who is one of the people who every day we've noticed walking down pit lane just to check exactly what Lee and Chris were talking about, where his pit is for that particular race. I think with 30 years of experience, he still does that every day, walks down before the race and checks exactly what the position is. 116.871 on the opening lap for him. And Joe Yearsley, 116.070. Let's get to the Glen Helen leaderboard then. Michael Dunlop now leads by 10.7 seconds from Peter Hickman, who is now 6.5 seconds up on Herbertson, who's third. He is 5.4 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward. Rob Hodson in fifth, only 1.8 seconds down on Coward. Coward continues to lead on the road, but Dunlop probably closing on him, it has to be said. Then Michael Rutter is sixth, 22 seconds down on Hodson, but we do have later starters to come in. Mike Brown in particular, who is lying in fifth at the end of that opening lap. Barry Ferber continues to hold 8 of the later starters, and then Joe Yearsley, obviously start number 16, he was holding on to the top 10.
Yeah, just getting a shot of Davey Todd there. He's normally got quite a loose, flamboyant style, and he just doesn't look comfortable on this Supertwin. I don't know if that's just down to lack of laps on it, or maybe he doesn't like the wind, or there might even be a bike issue. But yeah, he's definitely further down the leaderboard than I was expecting, or what we had spoke about earlier on. And that bike is capable. Obviously, that team, and that, I don't know if it's the same bike or not, has won with the likes of Ivan Linton and people like that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird one for me, why he's not further up the leaderboard, or what the issue is. So maybe we can grab him after the race and get some info off him.
Speeding penalty for Mark Colvin in the pit lane, 71.4 kilometres per hour. That's way over the 60. 30 seconds for Mark Colvin.
Yeah, shame that. Like, you only have to go 0.1 of a kilometre over and you're going to get a 30-second penalty. So it's almost advantageous to sort of set your pit lane speed limit to sort of quite a little bit less, because the advantage that you gain is quite a little bit less than what you can actually lose.
News on retirements. We told you about Stefano Bonetti at Ballacrane on the opening lap. Brian McCormack retired at Ballaugh Bridge, and David Brook at Douglas Road Corner. And obviously we know about Paul Jordan here at the grandstand in the pits at the end of lap 1.
Interestingly, through the pit stop, we've got a good advantageous position up here, and we sort of noticed that all of the top guys are on treaded tyres, except for Michael Dunlop, who's gone for a full slick combination front and rear. So yeah, so that's the bravery right there. He's sort of happy to go out in these conditions in full slick tyres, where sort of the majority of the field, I would say, are sort of on treaded tyres.
Makes you wonder if it gives him a mental advantage to these conditions, because he knows he can ride in these conditions and he's not scared of it, is he? So yeah, like you say, he's just opted for the slicks. And yeah, watching him through Glen Helen, and especially Gorsley, he didn't even stick his knee out. You know, he was fully tucked in, fully committed. He's like 125 style on that bike.
Yeah, I suppose that's sort of an advantage of having a lap before the race. You can sort of go out and sort of, you don't have to make a decision going in blind. You sort of do a lap and sort of figure out where the wet patches are. And you know, if there's not going to be any more rain coming down, it's only going to get better from the first lap to the last lap.
Another interesting point to say is if people are watching Jamie Coward, his bike looks very much like a Pattern. They've opted for the Pattern fairing on that bike, but it is actually a Kawasaki.
Yeah, so Jamie's quite a big lad anyway, especially for these bikes. So if they've gone for the bigger fairing, it's sort of maybe just to try and get him out of the wind a little bit.
Just looking at the leaderboard at Glen Helen, Michael Brown has moved up to 4th overall. He's overhauled Jimmy Coward. So it's Dunlop from Hickman, from Herbertson, now from Mike Brown, who is 4th. And then we'll wait, Ferber and Yeardley are both through. Barry Ferber through in 9th, Joe Yeardley through in 10th. So continuing to hold on to top 10 positions. At Ballath, we have the top 2 through, and it's out to 13 seconds. Dunlop leads Hickman by 13 seconds at just less than half distance in this Metzler Super Twin TT Race 1. Dunlop leads Hickman by 13. Then it's another 7.9 seconds back from Hickman to Herbertson. Then, obviously, we'll wait on Mike Brown to arrive. At the moment, we show Jamie Coward in 4th. He is 5.1 seconds down on Herbertson, but Brown to slot in there. Rob Hodson, Davey Todd, Michael Rutter and Pierre Evian. The other riders through Ballath as Jack Petrie is caught by the speeders as well. 63.6 kilometres an hour for him in pit lane. That is 30 seconds.
There's about to be a free taxi here for Dom Herbertson as well as he gets caught by Peter Hickman. So that's going to be in his benefit if he can sit in behind Pete. He's already made the 10 seconds up on Dom, and that'll probably pull him further away from Jamie Coward, who's not got really a toe, unless is Michael already on Jamie Coward? Has he gone through from Jamie Coward? But Mike Brown's coming strong now in 4th position as well, so he might even overhaul Herbertson. So yeah, it's in Dom's best interest if he can latch onto the back of Pete now and sit in there and give the bike just a little bit of an easier time.
Yeah, we're waiting just to see pictures to see whether or not Coward is still in the lead on the road or whether or not it is now Dunlop. Sorry, John.
I was just going to say, it's interesting. We're not really mentioned Dom for a podium finish, have we? He's on Change Machine this year. He rode the Kawasaki last year, and he's on the Pattern this year. And obviously, suited him down to the ground, and he's got a bit between his teeth. So yeah, if he can tuck in behind him.
Yeah, there's never been an issue with the power of that Pattern, and obviously Michael's proven that. And a little bit of that comes from the commitment onto the streets as well. We're not trying to take anything away here from Michael Dunlop. If you see the onboard footage or the helicopter footage, he is fully committed in riding these little bikes, and that is the way they have to be ridden. Every little bit of momentum helps. But yeah, we're just getting a shot now. I believe that is Hickman on the back of Herbertson right now, or else it is Michael on the back of Coward. One or the other. No, it's not. It is Hickman on the back of Herbertson. So yeah, this is going to benefit Dom here, and try and hold on to that 3rd position if you can.
It would be incredible for that Burrows engineering team. Obviously, they had the podium last year with Mike Brown. If they could get it again with another rider, that would be quite an achievement.
Yeah, obviously it's quite a small team run by John Burrows himself, and obviously a very accomplished racer in his own right, and then has come on to run a team, and which has turned out good because he's now got his son obviously coming through on short circuits in BSB and stuff as well. So yeah, we're just watching Hickman now going to pass Herbertson into Ramsey Herpin, I believe. Or no, he's not. He's going to back out of that one. He's opted out of it.
He is. He's right behind him into Parliament Square. As you say, he looked as they came through Schoolhouse like he was going to try and make the pass, but he has backed out. But now he's going to go for the pass past the bus station. Oh, no, he's had to back out of that one into the bottom of May Hill as well. So this will be costing Hickman time now.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if we could stay on the helicopter shot up over on the run up onto the mountain, just to see the difference in the two bikes for speed. But that Yamaha R7 of Peter Hickman's definitely looks good on the lower gears out of the corners, as he does now make the pass into Ramsey Herpin.
Yeah, just got up into the inside of him, into Ramsey Herpin, so away and through for Peter Hickman. Clear road ahead of him. Dunlop leads Hickman, and then Herbertson obviously at Ramsey Herpin is now to 14 seconds. Dunlop leads Hickman by 14 seconds, and then Herbertson is 9.7 seconds down on Hickman in 3rd. Then Jamie Coward holding 4th, but at the moment, but we await Mike Brown, who does continue to hold on to 4th place at Ballath Bridge from a start number of 14. Barry Ferber and Joe Yeardley, the two later starters that we're also watching, they continue to hold on to 9th and 10th. Ferber in 9th, Yeardley in 10th at Ballath on lap 2 of this Metzler Super Twin TT. Dunlop then leading the way on the Pattern from Peter Hickman's Yamaha, 14 seconds between those. Then Herbertson on his pattern, 9.7 seconds down on Hickman. Then Mike Brown now does slot in at Ramsey, 2.4, 2.5 seconds essentially down on Herbertson on the pattern. And then Jamie Coward is 2.9 seconds down on Brown. Rob Hodgson is 3.4 seconds down on Coward in 6th. So it's still relatively close. Then we get a bit of a gap, 29 plus seconds between Hodgson and Davey Todd, who is 7th. Michael Rutter is 2.6 seconds down on Todd. Then Pierre-Yves Bion of the riders who are through Ramsey Hairpin and Josh Brooks rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, so basically we're looking at the last fight for the podium is the ex-Burrows rider could potentially take the podium position off the current Burrows rider. So yeah, very, very close battle. It's only 2.5 seconds off the podium. So it's going to be crucial for these guys to look at their boards and get all that information on board going on to the last lap.
Michael Dunlop's just done the fastest sector time of the race between Balath and Ramsey. So that's helped push that lead up to the 14 seconds as they are on the climb of the mountain. We're tracking here, Jenny, Peter Hickman on the Swan machine.
Yeah, doing his best to keep tucked in there, isn't he? He's just taking the corners. The mountain mile, you think it's a straight line, but it's actually not a straight line, is it? So you can just see him weaving from side to side there, trying to keep that bike singing. Like you're saying with the gear, and I think they've got a headwind on the mountain mile, Peter was saying, so hopefully he's pulling that 6th gear. You want the bikes to rev out and use the maximum power if you can.
Yeah, jumping back onto the Michael Dunlop situation. This is the only race all year that Michael rides for this team, this bike, these sponsors that are on this bike, and possibly this is going to be the bike that he breaks the record on for the all-time wins. So yeah, I don't know if the other teams involved would be a little bit frustrated or whatever, but it's definitely a good day for the Patton team and whatever sponsors they have on the side of that motorbike.
Yeah, we just see into Ramsey Hairpin then. Baz Ferber has caught and overhauled Joe Yeardley, but they're going together on the road. They continue to hold 9th and 10th in the race. Ferber in 9th, Yeardley in 10th, but Yeardley can hopefully tuck in behind Ferber here and get a nice tow over the mountain.
Yeah, and he's obviously a young rider to the TT, and all that knowledge, and you learn far more in a race, Jen, don't you, than what you learn in practice, because everybody is pushing and you've not got a chance to pull over and not give somebody a tow because you have to get round. As we see Peter Hickman give Michael Rutter a cheeky look over there, and yeah, Rutter's going to get it straight in that slipstream again. Obviously really good friends, and yeah, share a sponsor on them bikes as well.
Dominic Herbertson is right behind them. We've got a 3-bike train going through the Brandywell junction as it is there with Herbertson tucked in right behind them as well. But we pick up Michael Dunlop now in towards Kettle Gate and Kate's Cottage. He'll be on the run down to Cregnabar. And we see Coward. He's catching Coward. He's coming round Kate's Cottage now. Coward is about halfway down the run to Cregnabar. So there's maybe only 3 or 4 seconds between them now on the road.
Yeah, you would think that he will probably catch Coward well into the first third of the next lap, and he possibly might just sit in behind Jamie and just give that bike an easier run home, without trying to over rev it and get the free speed down the straight of sitting in the slipstream. But yeah, we're going to see that now. And then obviously for the second race of the week, you might not want to tow Jamie round and give him more information for the second race. So it'll be interesting to see what Michael does on this last lap.
We said Dunlop has set the fastest sector of the race. Balath to Ramsey. It's Peter Hickman that set the fastest sector of the race on the climb of the mountain. Ramsey to the bungalow. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Hickman's speed here has any effect on that Dunlop lead as we get down to Cronknamona, which is where we'll next pick up the timing. We see Jamie Coward through Cronknamona now, so we'll just wait on Dunlop and Hickman to get an indication of where this lead is. It was 13.5 seconds at the bungalow, so Hickman had just nibbled half a second back. Let's see what he can do as they get to Cronknamona.
Yeah, and Dom Herbertson there, he managed to get a good tow behind Dunlop, and he's actually pulled another 2.5 seconds on Mike Brown. So the lead to Mike Brown now for that final podium position has gone up to 4.5 seconds. So really advantageous there for Dom Herbertson to let Peter Hickman pass him into Ramsey Hairpin and get a good run up the mountain mile and just follow him and tuck him behind him and sort of let Peter Hickman almost drag him away from Mike Brown for that final podium position. Which is exactly what's happened, because we just said Jen Hickman's done the fastest sector climb of the mountain of the race, and he's got Herbertson right in his train.
Yeah, again, like Lee said, it's nothing better to have somebody to follow and tuck in behind, and what better experienced rider than Hickman.
Here's Coward across the line to start his final lap. 116.85, and there goes Dunlop, our race leader. 118.683, but that includes the pit stop for Dunlop. 116.859 for Coward, obviously including the pit stop. It's Hickman and Herbertson that are waiting for to come through, so we get an idea of this top three. It was 13.4 seconds Dunlop led Hickman by at Cronknamona, then 12.3 seconds back between Hickman and Herbertson. So it's Patton, Yamaha, Patton. Then Jamie Coward shows in fourth, but we're waiting on Mike Brown to arrive. Rob Hodgson goes through to start his final lap of the race. His lap 2, 116.487. Rob Hodgson is down in sixth place, I think it is, at the end of lap 2, as we get Mike Brown hopefully arriving at Cronknamona shortly, and we'll get an idea of where we stand there. And we are awaiting for, here he goes, Hickman away and through, out onto his final lap, 118.497 for him. Dominic Herbertson, 117.516. Michael Rutter, 114.826. So Hickman has overhauled and gapped them on the road a little bit. In terms of the race, it's down again, the lead. It's down to 12 seconds. Dunlop leads Hickman by 12 seconds at the end of lap 2. It's then 14 seconds now between Hickman and Herbertson. So one lead shrinking, the other gap is climbing. Coward sits in fourth. Mike Brown has arrived at Cronknamona, continues to hold on to that fourth place, 5.6 seconds down on Herbertson. So we wait for him through here. Then Jamie Coward was fifth at Cronknamona. Rob Hodgson sixth. Davey Todd seventh. Michael Rutter in eighth. Then Pierre-Yves Billon and Josh Brooks, but we're waiting on Baz Ferber and Joe Yearsley to get through, and they were in the bottom reaches of that top 10 as they start a little bit later on the road. So Dunlop then, 12 seconds. He's out there on a lap potentially for history here at the TT.
Yeah, and we were talking about before this race that the conditions were maybe not ideal, obviously more than safe enough to go racing, but we've seen a few slight little damp patches, but yeah, that does not seem to be putting him off in any shape or form. And it always helps, like the 12 seconds flat to, we've just seen Mike Brown look down as he goes over Ago's Leap there. He's looking down at the right foot. I don't know what he would be looking at there, or if sometimes maybe if your foot would slip off the foot peg or whatever, it would give you a little bit of a worry. So maybe if we can pick him up on some of the other cameras coming through Quarter Bridge or something like that, and we get another look at him. But yeah, going back onto the leaders, it's always good to have someone to push on the last lap, like we said in the Superbike race, that to get that, hopefully, the lap record again today.
Let's see what the sector times show when they get to Glen Helen. Through that lap, it was Peter Hickman that's absolutely picked it up in the second half of that lap. It was Hickman who set the fastest sector times of the race to the bungalow and to Cronknamona, and from there to here to the grandstand. So he is coming.
Yeah, he's got a clear track now, hasn't he? Before he had a few riders to catch and pass, and now he's got clear road ahead of him, and he's, like Dave's just picking up that pace.
Dunlop showing real pace through Grieber Bridge, as we see here, on the way to catching Coward on the road.
Yeah, Peter Hickman, he's had a real good lap then. He's like 5 miles an hour down through the speed trap. So that Yamaha must be really strong in some parts of the course where he can sort of overhaul the pattern. And it'll be interesting to see as we go into this last lap with the fuel load getting lower and like the full heat in the tyres, how much he'd be able to overhaul Michael Dunlop if he can coming into this last lap.
We're watching now Peter Hickman, I think, on the way out towards Ballacrane once again. And just looking for a further retirement. Paul Cassidy retired at Ballacrane, making his own arrangements for return. So Paul Cassidy's race, unfortunately, over here. So then, end of lap 2. Let's try to go down a little bit further down the leaderboard if we can, while we wait for these guys to arrive at Glen Helen. Dunlop, then we know, leads from Hickman, then Herbertson, then Mike Brown in 4th, Jamie Coward 5th, Rob Hodgson 6th, then Davey Todd in 7th, Michael Rutter in 8th, Barry Ferber continues to hold on to 9th, 20 seconds ahead of Yearsley, who is 10th, Pierre-Yves Billon is 11th, Josh Brooks in 12th, Alan Ventnor in 13th. Great ride by Alan Ventnor so far. Then Tom Whedon in 14th on the Aprilia. And on his Aprilia, Julian Trummer is 15th. 16th for Adam McLean. 17th, Michael Sweeney. Francesco Caringa in 18th. 19th for Michael Russell. 20th, Gareth Arnold. 21st, And it's changing all the time. Brian McCormack, then Michael de Koppel in 22nd, Jonathan Getchke in 23rd, 24th for Martin Morris, and 25th for Mark Colvin with that penalty. Then a little bit further down, Timothy Monet, Reece Hardesty, Jack Fowler, and Paul Potchy-Williams with Mark Parrott rounding out the top 50. Let's get back to the lead of the race. We have Dunlop and Coward through Glen Helen. We await the arrival of Hickman and Herbertson just to get this top three formulated.
Yeah, we've just had Mike Brown come into shot again. Unfortunately, he's still looking down at that right foot peg. I can't see anything coming off the bike or what the issue is, but yeah, he seems to be quite concerned there. I don't know whether he's looking at the rear brake lever, Jen, or what he is actually looking down at.
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? But yeah, as a rider, like you said, if your foot slips off the peg, it's quite disconcerting, and you just be checking if you can see any oil or anything. But you say that, but it didn't look like it was slowing him down all that much. He was still flat out there around Gosley.
Yeah, we're just we've seen sort of the speed of that pattern. He made the whole time back up there on Peter Hickman in the slipstream, and now Pete sort of got into the twisty section. He sort of gapped Dom again. So I think Dom will start to see in his pit boards, and obviously the battle was between him and Mike Brown, and obviously with Mike Brown struggling with that, whatever issue he's got, hopefully Dom will see that in the next few pit boards.
Hickman's dropped significant time on the run out from Glanton to Glen Helen. The leader's gone out from 12.0 to 17.3 seconds. So he's dropped 5.3 seconds in the run, the 9.75 miles just from here to Glen Helen.
Yeah, and we've seen Michael now get right on the back of Jamie Coward. So it'll be interesting to see, like we said earlier, will he commit to that pass and risk teaching Jamie some stuff on the Supertwin, or will he just sit in there now? And it'll all depend, I suppose, on when Michael's next pit board is. If he sees the pit board and it says plus 17, there's absolutely no reason to pass Jamie Coward.
Absolutely. It hasn't dropped Hickman particularly into the reaches of Herbertson that time lost. There is still 11.6 seconds between Hickman and Herbertson in third. Then we wait Mike Brown. He was only 5.2 seconds down on Herbertson at the end of lap 2. We wait for him just to drop in at Glen Helen. The time not showing just yet. We've still got Jamie Coward showing in fourth of the riders through Glen Helen. Mike Brown, in fact, has dropped behind Coward. He is there. He's dropped behind Coward. So Coward moves up to fourth. He's 8.9 seconds down on Herbertson and 2.3 seconds down on ahead of Brown. Davey Todd is then 44 seconds down on Brown, but we await Rob Hodgson. Where's Rob Hodgson? He doesn't seem to have made it to Glen Helen.
Yeah, Michael has committed and made that move past on Jamie Coward. So once again, I was wrong thinking that he would sit in behind him. We might as well not change the habit of a week. And yeah, he's committed to that move, and he's willing to teach Jamie on the way home. But on the other hand, he might not just fully commit like he has on the first two laps. And yeah, there'll be nothing really for Jamie to learn. As we can see, Jamie right on the back tyre of Michael right now as well, and going for the pass again.
Oh my word. So yeah, Rob Hodgson retired bottom of Bray Hill from the top 6 of the Supertwin TT Race 1. Gutting for Rob.
Yeah, gutting to get onto your last lap. You sort of, by the time you get there, you're 37 miles away from getting round and getting the checkered flag. So yeah, real bad luck there for Rob Hodgson and the team.
And Adam McLean. Adam McLean is retired at the Cregner Bar at the end of lap 2. So McLean out at the Cregner Bar end of lap 2. Rob Hodgson just into lap 3.
Yeah, but going back to Michael Dunlop there, just in front of Jamie Coward, this could drag him along to that second place. 11 seconds is the gap at the minute, or 8 seconds to Dom Herbertson. It's not out of the realms of possibility. If Michael Dunlop can sort of pull that time on Dom Herbertson and Jamie Coward can stick with him, this could sort of pull Jamie Coward towards another podium position.
Yeah, Jamie's right with him as well, isn't he? There's a few corners actually where Jamie looks a little bit faster, but he did go for a pass, it looked like at one point, but Dunlop was having none of that.
Yeah, and the other issue, if we can drop back to the camera shot, if Hickman has in fact dropped Herbertson, so Herbertson's not getting that toe, and like Patrick just said there, if Jamie Coward can sit in behind Michael, and we can see the speed of that pattern. Jamie is right on his back wheel the whole way down Sulby Straight, and he can't even pull out of the slipstream to pass him. But yeah, this could tow Jamie Coward onto the podium, and that would be a really good race for that result for that Stead Plan team.
Michael Dunlop is not backing off even with this 10-plus second lead. He's on almost lap record pace out of a lap. He's about 4:10 outside of a lap record pace.
Yeah, we've jumped back onto the Hickman-Herbertson battle, and he has in fact got back onto him. on the straight section. So it'll be interesting to see if we can stay on this shot now onto the run down Sulby Straight and see if we can see the speed of that pattern of Dom Herbertson's.
See if they can respond, but the lead has gone out to 20 plus seconds. It's 20.4 seconds now for Dunlop at the lap bridge. He leads Hickman by, and then that is 10.7 seconds back from Hickman to Herbertson in third. And obviously we wait now. Yeah, Mike Brown is through, so he still continues to hold fifth. It's Jamie Coward in fourth, only 9.4 seconds down on Herbertson. Then Mike Brown is 4.5 seconds down on Coward. Coward having grabbed fifth place on the run out to Glen Helen, and Davey Todd in sixth. Michael Rutter in seventh. Looking back to Glen Helen, Barry Ferber is up to eighth, and Joe Yearsley up to ninth with Rob Hodson's retirement. So those two going along very nicely, and that brings Pierre Epion into the top 10. 10th for Pierre Epion at Glen Helen. But at the lap, Dunlop's lead, 20.4 seconds over Hickman, just on half a lap to go.
Right, Brown's back on it. He's just gone past Pierre Epion. Yeah, he's obviously, whatever problem he had with his bike, he's obviously decided that it's not affecting him, is it? And yeah, he's back on it.
Yeah, going on Mike Brown's outlook in life, the problem might well still be there, but he's just decided to carry on. He's pretty laid back, and yeah, if it's not hindering him, he's maybe just noticed something or a feeling or a vibration or whatever, and he's had 2 or 3 really good lockdowns there, and has seen nothing leaking and seems it's safe to carry on. So yeah, why not go on and try and get that top five result? But interesting here, looking back down on Michael and Jamie Coward again, the difference in the two bikes and the riders in different sections of the course. We see Michael pull a little bit, and then Jamie's right on his back tire again now. So Jamie might go for a pass at a point here, because Michael won't know that Jamie's trying to get back onto the podium, obviously, and Michael's obviously really happy with the lead he has, so there's no need at all for him to push on any further on this last lap.
We saw Standard Dunlop look back, and he didn't have to look far because Coward was literally right there.
I think that's the closest somebody's been right behind Dunlop when he's done his look back. He was literally at the side of him on his left-hand side there.
And he's 2 seconds, we understand, 1.8 seconds inside the lap record pace on this final lap. He's 122 plus. The lap record is 122.75, and into Ramsey it's an 11-minute 25. Michael is there at 11:23.2, so 1.8 seconds inside lap record with a 20 plus second lead.
Patrick's just reminded me there that my prediction of him rolling off. So we're on an absolute streak here in the commentary booth. So if anybody out there that's right and wants me to predict that they're not going to win, there's a good chance of them winning this week. So if they want to slip me a few quid, I'll get them a top result.
Quite a wide sweeping line for Hickman there up through Stella Maris. Do you adjust your lines when you're riding a Super Twin as opposed to the big bikes?
Yeah, it's obviously all about momentum, and you want to keep that roll speed. And you'll even see Pete when he pulls out of Ramsey hairpin, he leans the bike left and then right again, because obviously when the bike goes over on the side of the tire, it picks the RPM up. And even silly things like going on to Sulby Straight, you'll take longer to get the bike completely vertical, because you're just trying to aid that RPM and get every little bit of speed out of these smaller capacity engines. Then obviously on the big bike, it's the complete opposite. You want to get it on the fat part of the tire and get you using that motor all the time.
Catching Peter Hickman now going through the gooseneck, so he's onto the mountain climb proper at the Ramsey hairpin. It's 21.8 seconds that Dunlop leads by. 21.8 seconds he leads Hickman, and then it's 11.8 seconds back from Hickman to Herbertson. Then Jamie Coward continues to lie fourth, and he is still in right there or thereabouts, 6.5 seconds down on Herbertson. Mike Brown is 7.2 seconds down on Coward. And then we go back to Davey Todd, who is in sixth. And then Michael Rutter in seventh. Then we wait for Barry Ferber and Joe Yearsley, who hold eighth and ninth at the lap. Then Pierre Epion is through Ramsey hairpin. He is in 10th place. And then Alan Ventnor showing in 11th. So it's the climb of the mountain, the climb that could bring Michael Dunlop to TT history. That's what we're waiting for. Dunlop is on his way over the mountain for the final time. Will it happen on this lap? Will it happen in the Metzler Super Twin TT Race 1? It's all eyes on Michael Dunlop now.
Yeah, if Michael Dunlop does this, keep this pace up, he's sort of dragging Jamie Coward along. 3 seconds he pulled out of Dom Herbertson in that one sector, so it's sort of tagged onto the back of him. And if he sort of knows that he's on lap record pace and he's sort of comfortable doing that and not having any moments, he might not be too bothered about having such a big lead at this moment, and he might just go for the lap record. But yeah, that could well pull Jamie Coward into that final podium position, and it's sort of good place to be in if you're Jamie Coward at the moment, as we can see him there coming through the bungalow, bolted right onto his rear wheel.
Literally, Coward has not given an inch, has he?
Yeah, and obviously Hickman has dropped Herbison at this point as well, so his free taxi has now left the station. But Coward has got his grips in here, and this is going to come right down to the wire, because Michael is renowned for being fast over the mountain and definitely on these smaller bikes. So yeah, this is it's going to come right out. It's dropped has it dropped 4 seconds in the last sort of half a lap, or not even half a lap in the last sector?
Yeah, we're just looking at the sector time in terms of that lap record. He's just slipped outside that record pace now on the climb of the mountain, so maybe that wind's still affecting them up over the mountain. He's only about 0.8 of a second outside of lap record pace, but he does still obviously hold a commanding lead in terms of the race. It's just him and Coward through the bungalow. We await Hickman, Herbertson and the rest.
As Jamie Coward just pulls out to the side of that pattern. He got a better run through Windy Corner, but we can see again the pattern's just stretching away. Jamie can sit right in the slipstream, but just doesn't have the ultimate top speed to be able to pull out and pass at that point. So yeah, crucial. The last pit board obviously will have got at the hairpin at Ramsey, or coming out onto the mountain is one where I normally have. So it'd be interesting to see if Jamie puts a bit of a push on now. He's obviously got one at the Craig as well, but it's almost too late by that point, unless the gap is right down to 2 or 3 seconds. But yeah, it's dropped below 6 seconds for the first time now on the run down to the Craig.
We wait then for the arrival at the bungalow. Peter Hickman does come through. The lead is 21.6 seconds. It's only changed by 1/10 of a second on the run up the mountain. Dunlop leads 21.6. Herbertson then 12.5 seconds down on Hickman.
Yeah, it looked like Jimmy was going to go for the pass there into the Craig, but yeah, we can see the pit board out now, both for Michael and Jimmy Coward on the run out of the Craig. But unfortunately, I think for Jimmy and the team, it's a little bit too late, because Dom Herbison's kept the push on, and the gap is still at 6 seconds.
This is great though, isn't it, for Jamie Coward? You know, he's getting a bit of a masterclass off the master, and he'll take that to the second Super Twin race.
Yeah, and Jamie himself is a very, very good, he's a good bike rider, full stop. He's done 132.5 or 6 this week, but he's been well known for some really good results on Super Twins, obviously with nearly winning one a few years back, and he's pretty much nearly always on the podium. But Dom Herbertson's rode a brilliant race here on the Burrows Engineering patent to what we can see so far, which is going to be his first podium, I think, from the Isle of Man TT, and another one in a year from the team's last podium here last year.
Dunlop then is through Cronknamona, so to Jamie Coward on the run down here to the TT Grandstand. They'll be dropping down from Cronknamona to Signpost, down the right-hander at Signpost, into the left-hander at Bedstead. That will take them down towards the Nook, where we pick them up now on the live stream. We see them, Dunlop and Coward, still live astern together into the Nook. They'll drop into the braking zone for Governor's Bridge. Governor's did. They do so now. Dunlop out to the left-hand side. Gets a nice line into there. Michael Dunlop described it as a monkey off his back when he equaled Uncle Joey's winning most record at the TT on Sunday. He then had victory ripped from his grasp in Sunday's TT. Now, one of Ballymoney's most famous sons is about to stand alone at the summit of TT achievements. A magical 27 victory for Michael Dunlop. The bull run continues. We have a new greatest of all time. Michael Dunlop, 27 TT wins. Astonishing. Let's get that last lap time. It wasn't quite the lap record. It was 122.434, 18 minutes 29.394. Jamie Coward, 121.649. Let's look back to Cronknamona for that battle for the podium. Peter Hickman then 21.8 seconds off Dunlop at Cronknamona. Dominic Herbertson 12.5 seconds behind Hickman and 5.6 seconds ahead of Coward. So that should probably be enough. Let's get down to Chris Kinley for the arrival of Michael Dunlop.
You don't need me to say anything. We've just got the noise of the crowd. They all erupted. Here he is. There goes Jamie Coward through. Peter Hickman through Cronkdemona, 21.8 back. Dominic Herbertson also through Cronkdemona. Let's get them across the line, Boydie.
Arrives, we're waiting on Herbertson there. He is, I think, as well. Yes, indeed. So it's Dunlop who wins by 20.4 seconds in the Metzler Supertwin TT Race 1. Dominic Herbertson in third, 14.3 seconds down on Hickman. Jamie Coward will finish in 5.5 seconds down on Herbertson. But this is the moment. This is Michael Dunlop's moment. Let's get back down to Chris Kinley.
Mike Brown through Cronkdemona, Davey Todd through Cronkdemona, Michael Rutter through Cronkdemona, but Michael Dunlop in. The Patton guys are straight in to have a little chat with him. And here comes Hickey. We'll get in a second. Here we go. Michael, all the crowd waving at him behind us here, the VIP crowd. More machines across the line, and we'll jump in and get Michael in a second if we can. He's going over to his team first off to speak to them and say well done to family and friends. We'll get him over here in a second, but Peter Hickman confirmed in second. 20.4 was the gap at the end, and then 14.3 back to Dominic Herbertson with his very first Isle of Man TT podium for Dominic. He's been here at the Manx Grand Prix, but here comes the John Burrows team into third place with Dominic. This is going to be a good crack. So Patton 1 of 3. And here comes Peter Hickman in as well. We'll get round the back. We'll get Hickey in. Michael goes straight in to do it. And Michael, 2:7:27. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. What a race. How tough was that out there? Well done.
Yeah, the wee girl was struggling a wee bit. We had a problem during the week, but Andrea and Lorenzo, beautiful, made it work. We knew that was going to be quick. I knew that. So I said to myself, I better push on, but bike was meant. The two boys have worked like dogs all week. We had an issue in the first practice, and fair play to them. I just can't thank enough. And thanks to Stefano, the boss, for giving me the patsy. I done it. Well, I don't know if he done the deal, but hopefully she's mine.
Oh, really? So there's another one going in the front room. So that's a Yamaha, isn't that?
Yeah. I look at that. There's, you know what? We should have had this yesterday or Sunday. We deserved it. I think we deserved it well. I think we deserved it. We deserved it well on Sunday. It was out of our control, but it doesn't matter now, to be honest with you, because I'm no better than Joey, never was, and I have no intentions of being better than Joey. But everybody's lifetime they've inspired to be the king. If I get beat, my record's going to go. I don't care. It was a point that Joey stood for 24 years, and it's an honour.
It's an honour. What a reception you got coming in here again, eh?
It's quite hard because you just don't know whether to get too excited or not, because sometimes you don't want to come in here looking like an ass. So, you're like, oh, yeah, great. Oh, no. But no, it was great. It's should have got a burnout, but we need her for for Friday.
You run lap record pace early doors in the last lap. Was that wind quite a strong head on the top?
It was hard going, and then I seen my thing, and Gary had said to me, look, Michael, they could be coming. And I says, well, it's time I was going. And then I pushed up the pace a wee bit, and steady.
Many congratulations, Michael. Good smile as well.
Cheers, boss.
Thank you very much. We'll get Hickey. I think it's going to do tally.
All the time coming down, I'm going.
This is either going to be very beat friendly, or it's going to be Dominic Herbertson with his very, very first Isle of Man TT podium. Dominic Herbertson, Bonnie lad.
I'm just still waiting to get pulled out here. You know, when you're seeing the numbers going round, and obviously me limited Northeast education, I'm going, even I can't count that quick. And all I'm going, what am I doing? You know what I mean? It's surreal. And now I know how James Counton felt. You know, first time he ever came to the TD, he pulled in here, and that's unreal. And, you know, there's only one proper bloke who thought I could do this, you know, and I'm not just saying this. That was Chrissy Rouse. So next time I see him, he owes me a pint.
A pint or two. So it's your race and the first TT podium, Dom Herbertson.
Well, God, Bennett, to be honest with you, when I saw Davey Todd, you know, like if anyone's not heard of him, he's just done a 35 in the earlier race. And I thought, right, champion. And like my father's always said to me, you know, if you see someone, pass them as quick as you can around here because you can get in someone else's rhythm. And I'm saying that to myself, Chris, about Davey Todd. And I'm going to get as fast as quick as I can. You know, it just, honestly, I can't thank the Burrows engineer and the RK Racer team enough. Graham Hanna, right? who's like IFS, who have given us the bike, and this, Jeremy Williams has ridden this bike, and the fact that them lads have either been silly enough or trustworthy enough to let me race it. And is this actually happening?
Yes, it is, mate. You're in the TT Podium. You followed Hickey for a while. Did you learn anything?
I learned a hell of a lot. That I'm a bit weak on the brakes, but there's a couple of bits I thought I'm here or thereabouts. The IFS bike here has got a little bit more legs on it, but bearing in mind I'm 4 or 5 stone lighter than the Hickman there, but I could just tuck in that bit more. And I've just followed the world's fastest TT rider for a lap and a half. Put that on the resume. Not bad for a fat lumberjack.
Not bad at all.
Not bad for a fat lumberjack.
Let you go and do telly, and John Burrows is there as well, the team boss. You go off and do a bit of telly. We'll grab a word with Hickey if we can. We'll grab a word with John too as well. Pete, just a quick word. Sorry, Gary, just to jump in live on Radio TT. Pete, tough out there today, I think. Dead, you must have really struggled up the top with that wind.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I'm happy to get the Swan R7 up on the podium. The little thing's going really well, I'm a big lad. We all know that, don't we? So, but hey, I'm just really, really happy to be in a race where Michael's just got that record. It's just unbelievable. What an achievement. And genuinely, I'm so happy for him. To be in that race with him is just is an extra thing for me. So yeah, really happy.
TT fan as well, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Exactly.
What about Dominic getting his first one?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? He passed me on the last lap down Sulby and gave me a bit of a slipstream, and I thought, maybe he's trying to help me out a little bit, and he hung left. But his bike was so fast, I couldn't keep with him on the straight, and he hung left. And I thought, maybe he's letting me through. And I went to turn in underneath him, and he turned in. So we pretty much touched each other at Sulby Bridge on that last lap. But yeah, great to see Dominic get his first podium. He's really good on these little bikes, and he's always well in the classic. He's always really good. This sort of style, that high corner speed and no brakes, small throttle kind of thing. That's always good at anything.
He's very good. Good man. Peter, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, well done, Peter Hickman. And we're going to grab a quick word if we can. Round the back with the team boss, Johnny Burrows. Dominic's handed his notice and he's had the podium. That's all right. That's not a bad return for a wee team for Northern Ireland, is it?
Absolutely delighted. And many thanks to the whole team. Many thanks to Graham Hanna FS for loaning the bike. Dominic done a great job. I always knew he was strong on the small bikes. Very like a classic. He's done a good job in previous years right here in classic bikes. But we knew it was going to be hard. We knew Jimmy Carr's going to be tough. Rob Hutt's going to be hard. They were all there. And we chipped away from the start. And hats off to him. We're in here last year. We're back in here this year. I'm just delighted.
Well done, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Cheers. There we go. There's the top 3 in the Metzeler Supertwin race number 1. Chris, back to you to tidy the bits up.
Thank you very much. Let's start to run down the results, certainly the top 10, as we have the Michael Dunlop on the pattern, and his own MD Racing pattern wins by 20.406 seconds from Peter Hickman on the Swan Racing Yamaha R7. Then Dominic Herbertson on the Burrows Engineering by RK Racing pattern, 14.3 seconds down on Hickman. Coward completed on the Kawasaki, just 5.4 seconds down on Herbertson. Mike Brown in 5th, 24 seconds down on Coward, and he's with Beth Espy.
Yeah, he is just here with Mike in the tent here. Now, we noticed you looking down at the right foot peg a few times after Ago's leak. What was going on?
Just a small little oil leak, which looked worse than what it was, and just lost my confidence when my foot was slipping off the peg. And I was just keeping an eye on it to see would it get any worse, and it didn't. But I just lost confidence in the bike after. When you get a bit of oil, you're always going to be second guessing it. So I just all the right hand turns, I pulled her back a bit just to make sure it was okay. But no, it was good.
That must be so tough when you've got that sort of thing in the back of your mind. In terms of conditions, did they change out there from lap to lap?
No, it's fine. Just a little bit windy over the mountain, but no, all is good. Good.
And hair still looking good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Mike Brown.
Beth. In 5th place, then we had Mike Brown. In 6th place, Davey Todd. He was 40.5 seconds down on Mike Brown on the Kawasaki. Michael Rutter in 7th place. Cracking finish for Michael, 16.2 seconds down on Davey Todd. Then Joe Yeardsley gets himself a top 8, 26.8 seconds down on Michael Rutter in 8th. Alan Ventnor finishes in 9th, 34.8 seconds. And rounding out the top 10, Pierre-Yves Bion, 5.2. But really, guys, it's all about Michael Dunlop, isn't it? That magical 27th.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? That's his own now, isn't it? He's always been compared to Uncle Joey, and that's his. They've always been his, but that's his, and it's special.
Yeah, amazing to be here witnessing this, from this advantage point that we've got. But yeah, he keeps saying Joey's Joey and I'm just Michael, but Michael's not just Michael. I think we'll look back in years to come and realise the phenom that he is. He's like an amazing man. He's still only 35-year-old as well. So he's got years left in him and he can go on. He could win 10 more. He's still. Where's it going to stop with him? For me, he's one of the greatest, and I think he can compare himself to Joey because he's not racing. He's not getting all the wins his own way. The people that he's out there racing with are fast guys.
We'll come back to this talk in just a moment. Barry Ferber, who was lying in the top 10 throughout that race, he's retired at Ramsey on the final lap. But Joe Yeardsley, who we've been tracking throughout that race as well, fantastic result for him, and he's with Beth Espy.
Yeah, just saying, Joe, an absolutely fantastic result. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm speechless for the first time in my life, and yeah, I'm just so happy to get a top 10. And what were we, 8th, were we? Yeah, 8th. I'm absolutely over the moon, and I'm not going to lie, I did struggle then. We've had a few issues with setup this week. We softened it off. We were a bit hard at the start, and I softened it off, and I still don't feel comfortable as what I did at the Manx Grand Prix on the bike, and it's really frustrating. We're still going well, but I'm still not 100% happy with the bike, but there's always room for improvement, and at the end of the day, it's my first TT, and we're still learning, so that's what it's all about.
What a fantastic result for a first TT. You've done so well this week, Joe. And in terms of the conditions out there, we know it's a bit windy. There were some damp patches. How did that affect you?
Yeah, no, it was obviously wet, like a Glen Ellen section, stuff like that. And then Barry Ferber come past me into Ramsey on lap 2, and I followed him. And it's amazing how much you can learn from the other experienced guys out there. A few places I felt I was stronger, but most places he was stronger. And getting a toe on that last lap and a half until he sadly broke down and sold me on my last lap, I did actually feel gutted for him because he's a good mate of mine. But these things are all about keeping them going, and yeah, I am gutted for him. But no, it's amazing how much you can learn from the faster riders around here.
Well, we're delighted for you. Off to celebrate now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Superb. We're hearing of a 15-minute delay from race control to the super start time, so that will move now to 2:15. But we're just going to go back in history a little bit here. On the 3rd of June in 1978, Mike Hailwood made his victorious return to the TT, winning the Formula One race. A year and a day later, Mike scored his last TT win in the senior TT. A year and 2 days after that, the 6th of June 1980, Joey Dunlop scored his first TT win in the Classic TT. Roll on to a year and 2 days after that, and Mike Hailwood rode his last TT, the Classic race, and his first ever second place finish at the TT. And a big thank you to Phil Edge for this information. In 1992, Joey matched Mike Hailwood's record on race wins. In 1993, he overhauled it. By the end of his career in 2000, he scored that memorable triple to sign off the hat-trick. In 2000 to sign off with 26. In 2024, Michael matches Joey. 3 days later, he has overhauled him. And Michael's winning run started in 2007 with Supersport Race 2. He's then won the Superstock in 2011. In 2012, he again won the Supersport Race 2. In 2013, he won the Superbike, Supersport Race 1 and 2, and the Superstock to do the 4-timer. In 2014, he did another 4-timer, Superbike, Superstock, Supersport Race 2 and Senior. 2016, the two big bike races went the way of Michael Dunlop, Superbike and Senior. In 2017, it was Supersport Race 1 and the Senior. In 2018, it was the Superbike, Supersport Race 1, and what was then the lightweight, what we now know as the Supertwin race. In 2019, he again won the lightweight. In 2022, he did the Supersport double. In 2023, the Superbike, the Supersport double, and the Supertwin. This year already, the Superbike and the Supertwin. Just reading them out makes you breathless.
Yeah, and I think it's so hard to comprehend what all that means. We're just reading out numbers and years and dates and everything, but the effort that goes in behind all of this, behind the scenes, and even for the fact that these guys all ride different bikes in different classes. You watch all other racing around the world and MotoGP or World Superbikes. One rider rides the same bike all year. He's come here, jumped off a Fireblade Superbike onto a Patent Supertwin, onto a Yamaha R6. He was on a Triumph for half the week and then go back onto an R6, and he was picking between a 23 Superbike and a 24 Superbike. So all the volume of information going into the brain, and then just to calculate that all out and then still win races is, yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Me and Patrick were just having a chat a minute ago, and when he won on the first race of the week, it was like a massive relief, but now it just looks like he's back to doing his job, and there's no big fuss and there's no big relief, and he's obviously very, very respectful for his uncle. And you know, he keeps playing down the fact that he was Joey and I'm just Michael, and it's, yeah, I think that's a little bit lost in the times. But yeah, he seems back to his old self and back to relax, and he's just giving his mechanic here a bit of abuse for getting on the TV for getting an interview. But yeah, I can see him winning a few more this week.
They're coming up towards the podium. We'll have that in just a minute. But first of all, Beth has AJ Ventnor.
Yeah, I certainly do. And it was great to see you coming in here and looking so thrilled with your 9th place finish.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. If you had asked me if I got a top 20, I would have taken it with open arms. So to get a top 9 or top 10, you know, TH Racing, they've been so good to me. The Northwest, everything they've done. And this is, if I could gift them with this, you know, it's the best thing you could ever do.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely fantastic. We'll just wait to get the nod on the podium as we continue down. We've got down to, I think, Joe Yearsley in 8th place finish. AJ Ventnor, as we've just heard from, in 9th. Pierre-Yves Bihan in 10th place on the pattern. Josh Brooks has taken 11th place on the Yamaha. Then Mikko Sweeney in 12th place on the Aprilia. Francesco Caringa, 13th. 14th for Julian Trummer. 15th for Tom Whedon. In 16th place, Gareth Arnold. 17th, Michael Russell. So a good finish for Michael Russell. 17th place for him. Brian McCormack, who we reported, I think, earlier has stopped. He did proceed, and he's managed to get himself an 18th place finish for Brian McCormack and the Aprilia. Michael de Koppel then in 19th, and Martin Morris rounding out the top 20. Jonathan Getchke in 21st, 22nd for Timothy Monet, 23rd for Reese Hardesty. And we will pick up the rest when we come back, because it is time for the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the podium for Metzler Supertwin TT Race 1, and Harley Stevens on behalf of Metzler is going to do the presentation. Give a round of applause, please, folks. Off you go, sir. Off you go up. Be led by Dan. Thank you, Harley. Thank you for that. And again, another fantastic race on a bit of a windy day here on the Isle of Man. It's dropping a little bit, hopefully, as the day goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, his first Isle of Man TT podium riding for the Burrows RK Racing Machine. It's Dominic Herbertson. Of course, been up on there at the Manx Grand Prix before on the Classic TT. Well done to Dom. He gets up onto that podium. He'll get the sash over his neck. He's trying to put it on himself. Gets a hat on as well. In second position on the Swan Racing Yamaha R7, Peter Hickman. Peter gets up into there. We'll get the little laurel over his neck, and there it goes. Just gets over his shoulders. 27 wins on the Isle of Man for this man from Northern Ireland, from Ballymoney, on the MD Racing Pattern S1R, Michael Dunlop. Wow. Michael makes his way for the 27th time up onto the podium. There he is, folks, the winner. Gets the sash over his neck, gets the hat off his head, and he'll be getting the Supertwin trophy that he's now won 4 times. The winner of the Metzler Supertwin race number 1, 27 times, Michael Dunlop. And ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the anthem.